Guys, I will tell you this, that my team, along with my coaching staff, we're very excited to open up tomorrow. It's it's been a long time coming. Obviously last year was such a challenge with, obviously our situation with unfortunate situation with Devin Daniels and then going through the pandemic. But we're really excited to get back into PNC, to have some fans there, to have an opportunity to play in front of a crowd. And I'm excited about the guys who are returning. I've got a good bunch of guys who are coming back who were part of a team that won 5 straight at the end. And then we've got a mixture of a bunch of young guys and some transfers to try to add in. And so I guess the word that we could use is more get it going into the season as we're excited about our opportunity. So I'll take questions from you guys.
Go ahead, James.
Hey, Kevin. Hope you're doing well. I don't know how much you've been able to see Greg Gant, obviously with his injury, but just potentially, what type of a role could he play for you this year?
Yeah, you know what? We've had limited action with him. He's been able to get into some practices and to go through some individual workouts. What we've seen and what we've seen obviously before as we recruited him a little bit out of high school and just at his time at Providence, strong, athletic, can guard multiple positions, can score the ball inside out, brings a toughness to your team. He's a guy that can rebound the basketball and push the ball in transition. He's capable of playing both forward spots at the 4 and 3. And I think, once he's able to get back on the court full time, he certainly will add another dimension to our program.
And just to follow up, I know at times you've used Jericho even at the 5 in your system. Is he a guy who could sometimes maybe play that, or you want to maybe see more from him?
Yeah, I wouldn't consider him playing the 5 very much with the guys that we have on our roster. Unfortunate because of a pandemic situation or emergency situation, that could be a situation where we have him in. But going into it, he will play more of a power forward / small forward than anything.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Corey. Kevin, I know that obviously, it doesn't necessarily perfectly translate from last year to this year, the way that the season ended, but how much did that do for the confidence of, the guys that are back and starting now at this point to know that they were able to compete at the ACC level after, going through some struggles initially?
Yeah, Corey, it was really good for some guys. I mean, you think about, our young guys, and, I talk about our freshmen, but I don't really include Sebron in the freshman conversation. But when I go back and look at it, he was a freshman. And so the 2 guys who I think who benefited a lot was Cam Hayes and obviously Darion Sebron, more Sebron because he got the opportunity with Braxton's back and Thomas Allen being out and Devin Daniels. He was inserted into the lineup and gave us a tremendous different options that we could have. He's a driver. He's long. He's athletic. He rebounded the basketball, had a couple of really good games that stood out for our program to help us win those 5 in a row. Cam Hayes had a chance to grow up. He was thrown into the fire early in the season. We bought him off for a couple of games just so he could kind of see the flow of the game and understand how college basketball would work. And I think he benefited from it. And then the 2 other guys, with Manny Bates being able to be more of an offensive guy than he's been in his career in the first year, being able to throw him the basketball and him be able to do some different stuff, scoring over both shoulders and, being a big focal point of our offense was great for him. And then you cannot leave out Jericho Helms. You would say he probably arguably was our most valuable player during that stretch. He was our leading scorer, did a lot of great things, shot the basketball, guarded position. He was our tight end for our basketball team. And so those 4 guys, not only did they help our team win, but they gained valuable experience, and the experience that they gained certainly has helped our program so far.
And sticking with Jericho Helms just for another second, I mean, how much have you seen him grow from that point last season, having to be the guy to step up to where he is heading into this year? Where has been maybe the most tangible area where he's grown?
Well, I think he's grown. All of these kids, Corey, as they advance on in age, they get mature. They understand more what a coach is looking for him. I think he's become that type of guy. His biggest contribution to our program is that he competes and plays hard every day. You know, he's a guy that gets on the floor. He's a guy he is early. He's a guy who gets extra shots. He's a guy that leaves the gym late. But from a basketball standpoint in the games, you know, he's flourished because he's now been able to handle the ball more. He's had more of a role where he can put the ball on the deck, opposed to when he first came here, he was more of a pick and pop guy. In this situation now, you know, he's played a lot of small forward. He's able to handle the basketball. And so he's been more of a complete player, because where he was more of a three-point shooter and then that.
Go ahead, Todd.
Yep, Kevin, you seem to mix and match a lot in the exhibition game, looking for what five maybe mesh together. Did that exhibition game help you in that endeavor to find out the five that might work best together? And or is that more something that you learn it from practice?
Well, I think you learn it from both. You know, I went into the game saying I wanted to play 10 guys and then obviously have the opportunity to play our two walk-ons. By doing that, we were able to see some guys who work well together and then some guys who didn't. And then we were able to go back and put that combination together in practice and, you know, work on some of those things where they could get better as a group. And, you know, we saw some good things. I saw some good things from a lot of people. Some of our guys who had played well in a closed door scrimmage didn't have great games. Some guys had both. Some guys didn't. Some guys had one. Some guys had the other. And now what we did was we went back, we watched tape. We tried to figure out how to get people going, putting everybody in the right situation. And, you know, as a coach, you know, I'm going into tomorrow's game feeling like I have at least 10 guys that I'm comfortable with that, you know, all could play major minutes at some point during this season.
And you held Manny out last game, or the exhibition game, sorry. Do you figure you'll be playing him a lot more minutes this year than you did last year? Was that kind of maybe in the equation as to hold him out the exhibition game?
Yeah, I don't know, Todd, how many minutes, you know, he's going to play. That's usually a flow thing that goes from game to game. It goes sometimes, depends on how many fouls he may have or how he's playing. But it was good to get those other two guys some experience. I mean, both of those guys had a chance to play in the scrimmage and the exhibition. Whereas I just quite frankly, I didn't need to have Manny playing in those, and those guys got a chance to play in both of them. And I think it'll help them.
Go ahead, Jonas.
Coach Nick, you guys didn't have an exhibition heading into the opener last year. Obviously, this year you had one. Having a chance now to watch the tape and get back on the practice floor, what did you like from the film, and what some things that you like to see your team take off the film heading into this exhibition game against Bucknell? I mean, this opener against Bucknell.
We did some really good things. You know, one of the things I wanted to do was get out and transition and be able to score. I thought we did that. One of the things I wanted to do was be able to shoot the ball well. In the exhibition, we made 12 3-pointers, which was good, and especially against a team that pretty much played us zone the entire time. And I put them at a disadvantage, Jonas, because I knew that we were going to see zone, but I didn't go over it a lot because I wanted those guys to be able to adjust to something during the game. So we did some good things. The things that we got to work on, you know, I thought we got a little bit extended half court, and, you know, a couple of times we got beat off the dribble, which happens when you're playing against some smaller teams. And the loose ball, the 50-50 long rebounds, I want our guards to get in there and do a better job of rebounding right around that free throw line area.
And now that your young guys got the exhibition out of the way, to play under the lights in front of fans, are you hopeful that they got some of those first-time jitters out of their system playing last week?
Yeah, Jones, we had 6 dudes that had never played in front of 1,000 people or more. So hopefully they understand now. And it's tough. You know, I would hate to be a student athlete, a basketball player during the last couple of years. It's been really tough for not just us, everybody around the country. But I want our guys to get used to playing in front of fans. And I think they adjusted, and hopefully they got that out of the way. But it's still their first official college basketball game. And so it's natural to have some type of nerves. I'm trying to get this sun out of the way, guys. I'm going to switch sides on it a little bit.
Any other questions for Coach?
Yeah, I have one more. It's okay. In the preseason, you said it'd be hard to keep Travion Smith out of the starting lineup. He started the exhibition, but the exhibition was an exhibition. Do you have a set five for tomorrow? Or was there like a pregame, look at your notes, walk through before you set your five?
Yeah, it's funny because you can be starting today and then you don't lock in and shoot around and you might not be starting. So, Jonas, I don't have anything for you. I do like, right now going into this game, I have in my mind 6, maybe 7 guys that's possible to start. And I don't know who's going to actually get the nod. To Quavion, it's one of them. As a freshman, he's demonstrated in practice and in a couple games that he's a guy that can handle that role as a freshman. But that being said, I won't know until, probably an hour before game.
Go ahead, James.
Kevin, you may not care about this at all, but I still wanted to ask you, are you surprised at all that Jericho or Manny didn't receive any preseason recognition given what they did last year for you?
I do care about it. And the reason why I do care about it is because those guys have worked extremely hard for our program. And they both are really good players and they're returning players. I couldn't answer why. I don't know why they didn't. I know they're special to us. Hopefully in the end result, maybe they're not in the preseason, but when they do come out at the end, hopefully they both get, some of the flowers that they deserve. But it's hard, when you look at what both of those guys have done, one probably more offensively and then the other one on the defensive end. I would have voted for them. I think that they're deserving to be on one of the ACC teams, but none of that matters. We had to play it out on the floor, and I'm certainly both of those guys are competitors, and so I'm sure it bothers them a little bit, and so hopefully they'll play with that fire.
Thank you.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thanks, Coach, for joining us today.
Guys, thank y'all. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you.